Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. And this is a paid request for James. Thank you so much for that. Hope you're doing well. I know it's been a bit. Again, hope everything's going alright with you. This is the same James that sent in requests for those Super Mario, Galaxy, and Odyssey games, which were a lot of fun. So thank you for that generosity. But he sent in a request for me to review and watch Breaking Bad Season 2, Episode 13. Which is cool, because now that'll be all of Season 2 I have reviewed and, at this point, uploaded. But, before I go on, anyone wants to request any other type of videos, topics, reactions, commentaries, reviews, re-reviews, random thoughts of movie news, or reactions, or commentaries, or video game playthroughs, for trying for an hour, or a full playthrough, whatever the case may be, PayPal is usually the best bet. Do have a Patreon and a CashApp. Links are down below in the info box if you've asked about them. And I'll get to them as soon as I can. Now, Breaking Bad, like I said, thanks to people like James and other people, I've now witnessed the first 2 seasons of Breaking Bad, and so far I really enjoy it. Because it's a very interesting character study of particular Bryan Cranston's character of Walter, that is this teacher. He has cancer. He hates feeling weak. Wants to find, well, at first wants to put in nest egg for his family after he goes. But you see, like, throughout it, it's kind of him turning to the dark side, really gradually, step by step. So it doesn't feel too much of a 180. It doesn't feel like it comes out of nowhere. It's obviously people making this that know what they're doing and know that we hope we have this much time to do it, and we're taking our time to get to that point. And not only is Bryan Cranston do a wonderful job, and that's an interesting character, you also have Aaron Paul as Jesse, the guy who is an assistant who gets him to people that knows how to sell this stuff, but he's a bit of a screw-up. But you can tell that he's got a bit of a good heart underneath him. And it's funny, like, as I'm watching this, it almost seems as if Walter was the nice guy and he's turned to the dark side, but then you have Aaron Paul, the screw-up, the druggie, but then he's the guy that you realize, there's a bit more, heart to him. He's a sad soul. And kind of this shift. I don't know how to put it. Maybe I'm thinking too much into it. Now, because it had been a while since I've seen the other Breaking Bad episodes. At this point in Season 2, Aaron Paul's character Jesse had this new girlfriend who was a neighbor called Jane. She was cleaned up and sober, but again, the sort of high, the exhilaration, the temptation of being with Jesse, she succumbs back into drugs and even becomes worse off. And Jesse, being the screw-up, he screws up this deal, so Walter has to miss his daughter's birth to get this deal done so that he get this huge chunk of change. And then he refuses to give Jesse his half because it's like, well, what have you done? Like, you screwed me over here. You only had one job to do. And then Jane was pushing Jesse to go, hey, why don't you blackmail him? And you tell Jesse's like, no, I mean, we don't do that kind of stuff. Like, he goes along with it, but he's not really happy about it. And he's mad and pissed off at Bryan Cranston's character. But at the same time, he's like, you can't, you don't turn on people, and as in, you don't turn them to the police, you don't rat them out, or this type of stuff. So, in the previous episode, Walter comes by and sees that both Jesse and Jane are high as a kite, but the Jane, she is suffocating on her own vomit. Now, Bryan Cranston has the opportunity to save her, but he does not. Lets her die because of her dying, it's going to clear a lot of headaches. The blackmail stuff, her influencing Jesse, which despite the Grief Jesse showcases, really is one of the only people Bryan Cranston's character can trust, be obedient. And you saw a little bit at the last shot of the previous episode. You see it here where he feels guilt. You could tell that Bryan Cranston his character feels a lot of guilt. He keeps calling, because he rarely calls Aaron Paul's character, but here you see he keeps calling, checks on him, even ventures to a crack house where he's losing it, gets him to a rehab. And you tell from Bryan's reaction and his facial features, a lot of good acting without having to stress it with dialogue. I thought Bryan Cranston did a good job. Like, you really felt the character's guilt. He's not like a full-on evil character or anything, at least not yet, but you see those semblance of darkness in there fluttering through. But he does feel guilty. I thought Aaron Paul did a wonderful job where he's trying to resuscitate his girlfriend and he's crying and breaking down. And then when he's so out of it at the crack house, and then when he's later in rehab, he's kind of a vegetable, and Bryan Cranston kind of talking to him, hey, your money is safe. When you get out of here, it's all yours. And the only thing Aaron Paul says is, you're right. And Bryan Cranston's like, what? You're right. In the desert. I deserve whatever happens. So this is a character that feels so distraught, that feels it's his fault. At one point he breaks down in the crack house and says, I killed her. And Walter goes, no, you didn't kill anybody. I mean, technically, Walter killed her. That's the thing. Is technically Walter did kill her because he could have done something he didn't, because it saved his ass. And that's what's been good about this show. It's not an action-driven show, but man, it is such a great character-driven show, where they are really doing a wonderful job seasoning the characters, building them up, making them get into these interesting situations that you really delve deep into the psychosis of these characters, to make you involved to wonder what will happen next. And also his other stuff going on in his life. His son set up this GoFundMe thing on the computer, and we heard previously in an episode that, can't believe I forgot the actor's name, who plays Saul. He was the star, Bob Odenkirk. He plays the lawyer Saul. He's like, well, we could use that to funnel your money and launder your money so it comes out clean. And we just put like a little bit here, $10 here, $20 there, and it'll build up. And the way the market, I can make it where it's coming from all sorts of places throughout the country, and that way it doesn't get suspicious. And Bryan Cranston's character gets popular. His son's talking about how much of a hero his dad is. And then you just see the look on his face where there's just more guilt of, I let this woman die to save my own ass. My family thinks I'm a hero when all this stuff is laundered money, selling these drugs. And then his wife finds out that there was a second cell phone, which he lied about, and she's tired of him lying, so she leaves him. Now, I don't know. Now, obviously, it's not going to be forever. Eventually, she's going to come back. I don't know the details of that. Obviously, that would be in season 3. I don't remember. I think there were only like 5 seasons or 6. People want to think 5. But that's another thing of the show, is that the makers knew we need to end it here. They didn't overdo it. They didn't say, let's try to get to 10 years. And then the last 2-3 years are pretty iffy. Like, they ended it on a high note. And from what I understand, it's one of the many reasons why people still praise this show heavily. John Delancey, who was Q on Star Trek: The Next Generation. He was in the previous episode. Well, there's a couple, as well as this one, as Jane's dad. And he comes by, you see, he's not breaking down, but you tell just his face, sort of this saddened shock of it all. And there's a reason why we don't see it yet, but we tell it's affected him. He's an air. Throughout the season, there's spoilers, or more spoilers. Throughout the season, we saw these little snippets, I think in the first episode of season 2, of like a teddy bear in a pool, and there's been some kind of destruction, and or a little snippet here where there's bodies by the pool, and like sprinkled throughout the season, going, what the hell is this all about? And you think, okay, it's going to be some kind of shootout, or there's going to be some kind of thing where Bryan Cranston's family gets attacked. No, it's John Delancey's an air traffic controller. He's doing his job, but because of what's happened, he like blurs and inadvertently causes a collision of planes where there's a lot of people, and you don't see people falling from the sky, but you do see that bear fall into the pool. And like, damn, so that's where it was. So inadvertently, Walter White caused the death of all these people on this plane. 2 planes. But it's more of that snowball effect. Or maybe even the butterfly effect. You know, a small thing, well, not a small thing here, but him letting this woman die affected the dad. Then the dad didn't want to take a break, and then his inadequacy screwed up these 2 planes, and they crashed, and then all these other people are dead. And then you think, man, if Bryan Cranston never got into the drug thing in the first place, then none of this would have ever happened. So it just makes you think for a bit, which I think that was its purpose, and nice food for thought. But yeah, this is such a well done show. Really am impressed so far with the show. And you know me, I mean, I don't care if something gets a lot of critical raves. That doesn't automatically mean I'm going to like it. Just I have my own opinion. You know, critics loved Black Panther and even Black Panther 2, because I just reviewed that. I didn't love them. But on the flip side, I think The Sopranos, what I saw so far, was really good. And then this, so far, has been really good. So I make up the mind for myself, if that makes sense. But yeah, I liked the little moments with Jesse. I like that sort of... Liked is the wrong word, but I appreciate... Like when I hear Aaron Paul say, I deserve whatever happens, I really felt it. I really felt bad for the character. Because you can tell he truly believes that. And yeah, I think Bryan Cranston, without a ton of dialogue, was able to still tell a lot of story with his reactions. And like I said, a good cast, very capable writing, and having being sure of itself to tell the story at its own pace. Like, listen, we know we could... I'm sure there are ways to cut corners on it. But it's like, no, we'll just trust us. We'll get there. We'll get you there. That confidence, I feel strongly with the show. I think if they didn't know it, then they definitely showed that confidence for other people. So I appreciate that. So I like that. That was a good end to the season. Definitely keeps you intrigued to see what will happen next. I don't know if we see John Delancey anymore. I mean, I don't know how. I would assume he would have been arrested. And at the very least, fired. They probably give leeway because of what happened to his daughter and all this stuff, but at the same time, your accident, I don't know, would that be called like manslaughter? I don't know what the definition of that would be. I don't know if they touch on that or no. But, yeah, definitely intriguing stuff, so liked it. With that said, thanks for watching, take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye for now.